Well, hello there, everybody. How are you doing? As I get over here, and yes, we are on our way, and so everything is good. Welcome. If you are here, then you are in the right place. That's all I got to say. And as I wait for the screens to come up, it's a second look day. It's Tuesday. It's always this away. So, you know who I am. Yeah. How about that one, Trina? That's like that. That's really cool. Is everything. Wait a minute. Did not want that. So welcome everyone. As I am messing with things right
Driving
here.
that bus.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Drive that bus.
So, Miss Trina, how are you, my dear? So good to see you. And
Good to see you.
YouTube is just acting really weird.
Is it? Mine
Yeah.
had said I need to do an update, and I was like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, it's like, geez, what's up, man? It's like,
Mhm.
okay.
Stop messing with us, y'all.
Yeah, stop
Just wanna talk
messing with us.
spirituality
Yeah.
and contemplate life. We
We,
got
we
questions.
ain't doing we ain't doing anything wrong. We just,
We're just
just
asking questions.
yeah,
Lots
just
of questions.
singing our song and anyway, and trying to get along, but
Right.
it's interesting. So anyway, speak in favor over us all, nothing missing, nothing broken, be our ever-present reality. And there is Jenny. And hey, as a group, we prosper every moment, and we thank all of you. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for your time and your energy. It's well received, and we thank you.
Oh,
So, yes.
so much gratitude. Oh.
Mm.
Y'all
Y'all
help
the
me
best.
God every day, because all I have to do is think about how much I love you, and my whole field opens up. It's like attitude of gratitude bubble. I just got launched. Thank you, Soul Tribe. You are a key to my success.
Right arm. Yeah. All over that, man. It's like, yeah, I can agree to
what are
that.
you grateful for? I'm like, Soul Tribe. I can see, I just start going through the list, but you guys are like first on my list. It's like, oh yeah, you guys help me get there every day. So much gratitude. Seriously.
Or out, folks. Let's see. So I think I see Jenny there, and I'm not sure if she's fully connected. Stop, Bubba. Stop. I've got the ever faithful. Yeah. Bubba is a lot of it. We took him to the groomer, and the groomer said, it must be difficult for a small bodied dog to hold so much rage.
Right.
And that dog is just like, wow.
I'm just trying to sort out my camera 1 second.
That's okay. We
Yeah.
hear you wonderfully, and we saw a glimpse of you, but
it just flashed on and then flashed off. So I'm just trying to get it to flash on and stay on.
Right.
Well, the energy, Jenny, was so great that it just took that wave, and it's like, wow.
It has been since last week. It really just fed me last week. I left a comment to say it just nourished me last week. Reconnecting with the tribe, and it's that communion that we've sort of thrown the baby out with the bathwater, regarding religion. We've let them have it, the congregation, the exchange of energy. But the fact that I've found a space, the magic, the alchemy, the fact that I've found a space with so many people willing to come to it and purify themselves in it, rather than manipulate it or control it, or just to let it flow. It's priceless. It's really priceless. And I think we've really underrated it for too long.
Right there with you. I mean, kind of the study I was doing last week is the fact that if you look at modern day religion, they all come from paganism. There is a pagan root into it.
Yes.
And Jenny, you spoke it so eloquently. We've allowed them to control the narrative. We've allowed them to control one side of the narrative and rebuffing any type of questioning of the narrative.
Yeah. And almost it's that ego thing, isn't it? Because when people do come out of religion, you feel scorned, you feel used. It's like coming out of a very abusive relationship. There's a lot of ego involved. There's a lot of ego death. There's a lot of spirit death to be able to be a phoenix rising. There's a lot of going out into the cold, isn't there? And it's true that a lot of it is ego based, in that we just feel so scorned by those that we thought we believed in or felt close to, that we put even more barriers up to common sense, basically, of not letting the hijackers continue the illusion that the hijack has been forever and is all that there is. It's so untrue. It's so wrong.
And the thing is that if you look at it in the aspect that they've controlled the narrative and the one side of the story that has been given, and then when you dig into it, it's really I kind of sense they stole from my ancestors. Probably all of our ancestors.
They stole from nature itself. I mean, Druidism, paganism, even those are labels that, I affiliate with because they describe most what I feel at my source root. But I go beyond that and say, I find it hard to say. I do say for ease of people to get a view of what I'm about, to say, I'm Druid, pagan, that feel. But I sort of refuse still to hone myself in on that, even because hello puppy, I come from the roots. We come from the roots, we come from the sea, we come from the minerals. It's like we're of nature, and so labels are just that, labels. They stole from nature, they stole from just the alchemy of nature and us being able to be a part of it, being able to psychically connect the liver with the spike protein blocker in the dandelion, being able to speak so fluently with those plants again that I remember deeply. I still can speak to plants now, and I hear them and I hear the insects, but I remember a time in my DNA where I could hear them as if they were speaking exactly the same language. And I try always to get closer and closer to that,
I was talking to the elementals today. I mean, that's one of the things I can really say is that, it's seeing is believing. You can believe in an unseen whatever, but we're still in the physical reality here, and the elementals is something I can actually see. I mean, I can experience them, and I don't need to question. They're not a religion.
No, it's just they are
just
what
a
they
thing.
are. They're compounds, minerals made up into physical things, beings, in the rock. They're all of substance. They're all of energy. They can't be here if they're not. It's only when the energy slows down enough to make it physical that anything's here anyway. So, to not believe in the rock people as much as you believe in the Pope, just because he puts a cape on, I mean, make it make sense.
So, Jenny, I don't know if you can see the screen.
I can see the screen, yeah.
Okay, so check this out, everyone. By the way, hello, moderators, everybody else. How y'all doing? Good to see you. We're awfully happy that you're here. Now y'all just sit down, relax, and enjoy.
Huddle up,
right.
huddle up.
So I want to talk about your king. Well, actually, it's the king of the world.
Not my king.
So this is a picture that was taken from, I guess it was Westminster Abbey?
Yes.
And so the procession has just moved through, right? Coronation.
Yep.
Look what they caught dancing in the antechamber is what I believe it's called.
Well, it's sort of the entrance to the womb, isn't it? As far as the blueprint of the cathedral.
Who's the character? Do you see the character I'm talking about right here?
Yeah, Grim Reaper. Yeah. Everyone's saying Grim Reaper. If you watch the video of it, this guard at the right as you look on the screen to the entrance where you see the Grim Reaper, his energy literally shudders. I noticed his energy more than I did the Grim Reaper as he walks by, and I'm calling him Grim Reaper because that's the joke that's going around that
But
he is.
apparently this was not, and I looked at it and I said, okay, but apparently it was not part of the coronation. It was not part of the procession.
No.
So is this a symbolic? No one knows who or what they said. In fact, it is extraordinary that anyone could get past security. You know?
I don't think it was in the same frequential dimension, so to speak. I feel
that's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think
that's what I think. That's
the God
exactly
doesn't
what I
look
think.
at it, he just shudders, you know, like he doesn't look in that direction. You can just see him shudder.
So is this prophetic of what's to come under Charles?
Yes, and I think this
Death?
is this is everything that was hidden now will be seen. That's what this is.
Yeah, but
that
the Grim Reaper is
I don't think it was
the
supposed to
entrance
be
of
seen.
Well, but it's the Reaper. I mean, or at least that's what it's being called. And isn't that,
horseman, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and in English history, come to find out, when this character has appeared, death, war, pestilence
Plague.
will come. I mean, folks, this isn't new. I mean,
what if Wayne, what if this is meaning that this is the death of all the old ways and the old ceremonies, that this is the death announcement for them?
Well, it will be.
These ways are over. Yeah, these ways are over.
I think they are in the death throes, but I think there's a long way to go in those death throes.
I do too.
And they're not going to go without, we have already got plague. We've already got, you know,
come to think about it, we have war, we have pestilence, we got famine. I mean,
the four horsemen are here, you know, they're here, they're knocking on the door. You know, and so it doesn't come like in that all love. You know, I think it's just looking at society alone, the imbalance within people around you. It's not looking good as to it being a fast transition. These are like death rolls of the old hijack, and they're not going to let go easy. They've got a very, very dark spaces to go to if they let go easily, you know, for the repercussions of their actions. But is, you know, there was when I was in, you know, the church cult and it was being brought up, there was Pastor Harrison, who actually was an eloquent, intelligent man, and he was one of the pastors as a child that I could respect, because he was questioning, he was willing to be questioning, and so he made a prophecy, and it's one of the prophecies that I've remembered of his, in that he made a prophecy. It was an absolute terror about Charles must never become king. He must never hold the staff. He must never hold the sword. And he was shaken by it. He was shaken by the vision, the prophecy, and that was in the 1990s, early. And it's one of the things that I've always thought, don't let that timeline play out. And it's playing out.
It's playing out big time. So this is the golden spear with the crown. The top of the crown represents the authority granted the crown by God, and that he who holds the crown spear is he who is God's messenger and God's representative of the Protestant faith. So Charles is setting, well, it's not just Charles. This has been apparently in the monarchy. This is why they believe that they control the world in the aspect, even beyond the Vatican, and that this symbolism, because I'm looking at the spear and I'm going, well, what the hell? Because, you know, Michelangelo painted some very interesting pictures on this. And so reading the history of it, and so the crown jewels that you see here, it's basically usurping control of the known world.
Stolen. All of those diamonds are stolen through.
Yes, I was just going to say the same thing.
The jewels on the crown, every one of them is stolen. Every one of them is stolen through war. They didn't choose any jewels that they found here for the crown. They went
Well,
on stone.
I guess that's true. Britain, I don't think has a natural diamond mine.
That they've chosen to make those artifacts with are actually stolen through the darkest of days for other people in the world. And to me, it's sacrilege. When they hold that, they are literally saying what you say: we own the world. We can control, we can enslave, we can do this, and the rest of the world, if it's not them, will stay quiet.
That's why their bloodline is so important.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the Golden Globe, look at the continents. They look like they're drenched in blood.
Yeah. Well, there will have been at some point. No doubt.
I don't know. Are we seeing the top of the carrot? I don't know what we're seeing in there. I mean, this is so freaking strange. I mean, all
of this gold leaf on this carriage, all of the solid gold that's on this carriage, this is all real gold leaf. That's books and books of gold leaf, in that carriage, stolen. It was a long time ago when the UK had that type of gold in its land. A long time ago. They didn't get it from here. They've got it from everywhere else, but not here.
I just found the spear to be, and Charles, you can see in a number of the pictures, he held onto that damn thing along with it was interesting. They had a choice of 2 scepters, and the one that he chose, So I don't know. I mean, do we see the Specter of Death? Did we see the, I don't know.
When I look at his face, at the whole time I've been watching his face during that coronation, he seems like he's scared. He has a look of fear on his face.
Well, there's other beings.
Diana died because of whatever it was. She found out, and I'm still convinced that, she was looking at Dodie to find a way to break I think she saw exactly what is taking place here, and she said, hell no, I ain't having anything to do with that.
Yeah, Diana's discomfort with the friendship alone of Jimmy Savile, that man sitting in that carriage was best friends with Jimmy Savile. And Jimmy Savile, I'll not go into too much about that, people look up at it, but he was appointed as his lead magician, as his master, Jimmy Savile came across in silly outfits, shell suits, looking very silly with his cigar. That was all deliberate. That man was a high wizard, which was why he was into such dark magic of dark matter.
You think Elizabeth was a part of that?
Of course. Children went missing in Canada with a picnic. Yes. Native children didn't come back from that picnic. They didn't. The Catholic churches in Canada, they're frequent. There's actually a charge of crimes against humanity against Elizabeth, but nobody would bring it down to her. Nobody would put it on her.
I just know this: you don't mess with grandma. I mean, she'll kick your ass.
And still now, I'm convinced a lot of these things of.
So can I just interrupt here about Queen in her coffin? You know what they buried with her?
What was that?
That spear.
Yeah, they did.
Is anyone figuring this? She had, go and check me out, fact check me on this. She had that spear, a copy of it, buried in her coffin with her.
Or is it a copy? Because they can get into
it is obviously a copy, but the fact that, she wanted that included, this is going back to the times of the pharaohs of you would be buried with certain representations that would show up in the other realm. I personally began when I looked into this, and I'm thinking, now, wait a minute. This woman was really smart. There is no doubt about it. And why would she, realizing that the transition was coming, that it was important enough for her to have that copy of the spear in her tomb with her?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to be real bright, of a bulb to begin to say, do you think she knew something?
She knew everything.
I think she knew a lot. I think she knew exactly what the hell and why she needed it in there.
Yeah, she knew everything. She was trained in the master of magic. I would look up to her for for that reckoning. I really would. She had skills, and there's that, you know, that staff, you bang that 3 times, you make a wave, you make a path through, don't you? It's like, it's so, I don't know, like if I'd put a hood on and I was in the forest, like I often am, doing a very similar ritual, anointing myself with oil, touching.
Thank you. That's what they did with Charles, by the way.
Yeah,
they anointed his head with oil.
From Jerusalem.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that'll have some DNA in it as
hey,
well.
listen, man.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is some deep magic, man. This is deep occultism.
That's
Why do you guys
think people witnessed it and they don't blink an eye, and it's just like, this is how it's always been. Yet if I was doing a similar thing without the dark intent in the forest, people at the moment have been triggered into shouting witchcraft, Satanism.
They'd be hanging your ass, honey.
Hijacked into Christianity, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few in my family tree that were burned at the stake. How dare you, you know?
How dare you?
So what were you saying there, Miss Trina?
I was wondering what the deal is with it. I've been hearing that all of the royals' coffins are lead lined.
Yes,
so
yes,
there must be something important to that as well. I've heard. I don't know. It's a question. I'm wondering if it's true, but apparently they're saying it is. Yeah.
When she was taken from like the glass coffin, you know, like Snow White, where everybody went to just get that last glimpse of her to keep her in the consciousness of everybody. You know, people were queuing up to see a dead body. Again, if I did that with one of my relatives, you know, put them in a glass coffin and said to all and sundry, I know you might have not known them, but come and see anyway. Come and
sell souvenirs on top of that.
You know, it's gory. It's not, you know, like... I would be lynched. You know, what is good for the goose is not good for the gander here. But when they took her out of a Snow White's coffin and put her into what she would be resting in, Trina, you're right. It's lead lined. It's lead lined.
Yep.
You know, that means there's connections with lead to certain avenues of things in the afterlife, but also it keeps that energy very pure within. That energy cannot get in. You know, things can't get through lead very easily. Energy
can't get out too,
and things can't get out.
Correct. That's what the other thing that I was curious about. I wonder if somehow how that burial is somehow producing another holographic replica for them in spirit that can't be broken because it's sealed in a lead box.
Someone wrote, Rick, I think, says Queen Elizabeth's spirit took over King Charles. Has anyone else noticed that Charles' face looks like the Queen's face?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seeing that too.
Like you've just said, Trina, that projection through, it's that staff, it makes that way, you know?
This gets back to that black specter. I mean, you know, listen, that's some weird occultic stuff, man. When you've got this black specter that's and it's recorded. I mean, the world knows about it, and it's like, so what the hell's going on here? You know? That ain't normal. I mean, I don't know about you, but isn't that where God's supposed to be at? Isn't God the one doing the coronation here? I mean, what the hell?
That's it. And it's, I mean, this is like, you know, the N word of the people who were trying to, you know, do eugenics and things in a big way in recent history in World War II. You know, they're of that family.
And that's a part of history that, you know, I'm not going to talk about here because
not here.
You don't talk on it because you'll get in trouble for it.
They're not even from England though. They
are
not from a very long time ago. They are German rooted, and that's not a bad thing. It's the type of roots they have, you know, that what they affiliate with.
They're a bloodline, you know. I don't, and I have them emails, and I have not heard from her in a couple of years, but Princess Anne, when I first started this channel, was guiding me in directions concerning, you know, the bloodlines.
Right.
And I still have her emails. It's signed with her official title, the whole bit. And her guidance she was guiding me was into Egyptian history. because
That's so crazy, Wayne. I'm reading Egyptian history, Book of the Dead, looking at the 12 differences between the 24, the 12 and the 12, the archons. And they worship dragon. They're from the dragon line.
yeah,
So this is
she guided me right there, and she said, start your research here.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is not conspiracy theory. This is history. This is actual fact.
Apparently.
I still want to know, what the hell is the Grim Reaper dancing in the foyer? I mean, is that a party that we should be at? I mean, because most people would not say that he was or she was on the guest list.
No.
Yeah, could you hear Scotland Yard going, Sergeant, we got some cat here, man, calls himself the Specter of Death. Says he's on the list. I can't find him.
And if they say taser him, I mean, what's it going to do? It's going to zap them.
Why do I think of Bill and Ted,
It is. You're going to zap them into another portal. Suck you up into it.
Maybe they should have played, Monopoly with them. I don't know. What's that, Trina?
Did you guys also hear that they keep saying that the date of the coronation was 6 months, 6 weeks, or 6 years, 6 months, and 6 weeks or something after Queen Elizabeth's death, whatever it was, however they did that. It's the actual, I was like, that's interesting too, because numbers are important to these people.
Yeah.
The number of man.
Number 6 a lot, number 17 a lot. Again, it's crazy. It does melt my mind a bit, the cognitive dissonance of people that, they can't see.
Burnett says, I'm in a class right now getting lessons on Egyptian history.
Perfect.
Can I read this to y'all real quick? Because I think that, like I said, they're trying to divide us always, right? And obviously there's 2 different species of things going on this planet. And I think this is describing it so beautifully. And this is the Pistis Sophia. It says, just as the 12 apostles of Christ have 12 thrones, so also the realm of the dragon of darkness or judgment has 12 mirror-like antichrist counterparts, which copy the image models of the higher forces and produce them in the lower creations. These 12 rooms are the holding regions of darkness under the influences of the 12 immediate archons who work with Yaldabaoth and others to control soul's progression.
Someone pointed out the Queen died at 96.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yin and the yang in the opposite directions. It's
there's just some weird stuff going on here, man. I mean, and we were talking earlier how segregation is coming back into this country. The time that I'm from, we fought to end the segregation. And I've now what's that, dear?
You find people in even these sort of truth movements. You find of all creed, of all skin tone. I'm saying it that it's like reparations for this one, reparations for that one. Everybody wants to claim their justice external to self. And when it comes down to it, I don't agree or disagree with any one of them. I just say we are where we are now, though, and to keep dividing like this, I'm watching, like you say, segregation take place again.
It's nuts.
From everyone. Nobody's better or worse than not. They're all equal percentages, and they're like they're wanting segregation while still talking about unity and freedom, and it's like, I don't get it. I
don't get it either. I mean, I'm going, oh yeah, hey Kaz. Kaz is in the room, and
hi, Kaz.
I tell you, that picture she took last week is another bizarro.
It was.
Yeah, it was right in y'all's country. I mean,
like it's 90
Gee, what's going on in England?
I don't know.
Well, it was a deep ritual. They knew the energies of the space that they were doing it in. the fact that it's May, it hit me that, it's the number 5, the change, the changing of the God, so to speak. They definitely chose May for that. It was just so symbolic and deeply entrenched in ritual that's not good for any good intent,
Yeah.
It felt
So-
heavy. It felt heavy that day.
I have no doubt.
It feels to me like they're trying to resurrect, the old control systems. And for whatever reason, it seems to not be working, because I think you only get to become these things if the people believe it. But I don't think the people believe it anymore.
No, I think that's the problem. We have the new religion, which is nihilism.
But
you
they
don't believe.
care that they don't believe it.
True.
It's not that the majority of people that I'm seeing, even those that they don't actually care that they don't believe it. Even if they say they do, they're just enjoying the division games, like posting, one-upmanship posting,
Yeah.
But rather than, and it's like, whoa, steady, hold
I
us.
have no idea what that
Going
is.
up in another direction now. How did you do that? It's like, I thought we were on to unity there. Missed the boat again.
What I keep seeing with that is that because there's not the belief, the powers of the gods and the archons they're working with don't have the power that they used to. And I keep seeing, and I have a feeling that's why the Reaper showed up in the hallway. There's things happening because the strength is not there. So the things.
So this map, by the way, this is the map of the world that has all what they call the natural vortexes and portals.
Oh,
wow. Look at my state, man. I'm loaded.
You're pretty hot down there. I mean,
yeah, that's why they call it the land of the Phoenix.
You guys got a lot of stuff happening down there. It's this huge vortex, but I just thought this was interesting, because here's the next question I have for you. So my wife, she deals with people who are transitioning, they're dying. And it was this Sunday, one of her patients passed over, but this patient's passing was anything but peaceful. In fact, it was, as Lynn said, probably one of the most painful crossing. The person succumbed to cancer. I believe it was pancreatic cancer, which is bad. Yeah. I didn't realize how bad it was. And so we experienced something as a couple. She was there, I was not. And the pain was so intense with the patient. Lynn said that she began to feel this energy being pulled out of her. And when she got home, I told her, I said, I was doing something outside, and then I just suddenly felt drained. Mm-hmm. And I'm not there. She's there, and we're miles apart. Anyway, we began to talk about it, and as she said, she was convinced that because of the pain was so intense with this beautiful soul, the woman was just beautiful soul, and that she needed the energy of the living to help her break what the body was doing and get her peace. And so that was, and we were both as drained yesterday. It's just like, you're zapped.
Yeah. And there's nothing you can do other than continuing to go out and, charge your electrons by putting your feet on the ground bare for a while, and letting the time for replenishment, And I suppose when you get zapped like that, sometimes I don't want to replenish too quick. It feels like a natural organic process to process.
Well, no, that's good, Jenny. Because I told her, I said, honey, there's a purpose for what you're doing. Yeah. I mean, this is like what's the women for the birth, midwives.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm convinced now more than ever that there are those human beings that who are in this work of mercy, that they are in fact individuals that have this energy that lends to the assistance of when because they're right there at the moment of death.
Yeah.
She's
They're
a
guiding them
gatekeeper,
through
Wayne.
the canal, aren't they? They're guiding them through that canal.
See, that's what I told her. I said, this one here was particularly hard because of the situation. What was that, Trina, dear?
She's a gatekeeper.
My wife. Yeah, I do believe that she is. Yeah.
I know she is. Yeah,
And
I know
she's awake now enough now. I mean, she's well on her path of understanding now from a different perspective of what's taking place here.
But her DNA already had her doing that gatekeeper job, like Trina says. Isn't that magical that she's been in that profession for so long just because her DNA wrote it? That was a blueprint.
Yeah.
But do that blueprint, like Trina says, and be able to expand into it past the layer of just physicality. What a gift to any of the patients that she's with. What a gift.
Yeah, and that's what she sees. She sees the soul.
Yeah. So she gave a bit of her life away, and she had to charge from you. So you helped because, of course, it's your wife. It's Lynn. You're gonna channel that without question. So that connection just shows that beautiful connection between the three of you working together to just push through that barrier of pain into serenity. What a beautiful thing, and it's important, I think, to get used to sometimes saying, I don't need to rush to replenish. I'll go out and ground. I'll do what I need to do. But actually, it's sort of giving reverence to what you've just done. The sacrifice of your energy as a life has passed over. So sometimes in that energy, it's nice to still be zapped and building it up organically. I
wonder how many people fail to understand their calling, because when you see, I think that there was a time when our ancestors knew this, that there were people in each village that were there specifically for the transition. I mean, you think about it. Today we bring in, priest or whatever, but to them, they're more scared of death than the person who's dying.
Right.
I mean, they really are. It's like, oh shit, man, that's gonna happen to me. Oh no, but
and so detached.
I was watching an NDE yesterday experience, and she literally was a devout Catholic and was brought straight into the hell realms when she died. And she got out, and then they were like, she was like, I can't believe that I was there. And then when she looked at it, she was like, oh my God, I put myself there because that's what I believed. I believed it. And that's what I did. I put myself there because I believed it. I was like, bingo, ding, 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 winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I want mine fried. But anyway,
funny side up.
Yeah, but it was
I love me some fried chicken,
Yeah, a profound experience about.
But no, it's and I'm convinced as well. I mean, Lynn and I talk about this, and because the fact is, there are 8 billion different realities manifesting right now on this planet.
100%.
And the same, I believe, holds true to the other side. I mean, I was out meditating on Saturday, just really getting into it. And the conversations that I was having with those on the other side is that you actually do create that first step through. What is it that you expect?
Yeah.
And
how strong of an individual have you become to be able to stand in it as an individual in a completely different space and still maintain that individuality, to be able to, like in this life, find that strength from somewhere, no matter how hard things get, to keep your own trajectory into your own, greatness, rather than being very easily succumb. If you don't live in this life, you know, as a sovereign being and discovering more and more of that sovereignty. I don't feel it for people as they pass over. I don't. There's some of them are stuck. Some of them are stuck, like Trina says, in that bubble of consciousness that they've pummeled into themselves, you know, and that's the truth.
I asked Lynn what she felt when the cutting of the cord had taken place, and she said she had this profound sense of relief.
Yeah.
Wasn't joy, wasn't anything, it was just relief.
Yeah.
You know, it was so funny, this near-death experience is she was in the hell realms, and then she said the light would just go out, and then she'd wake up, and then this light would be rising again, and it would start all over again. But every time it would get a little worse, a little darker, a little darker. And then she said at the end, she was to the point where she was not scared anymore. She was like, okay, this is just a shit show. This is just going to happen. This is just a shit show. And when she finally got into that place and the fear was kind of like, she's like, whatever, I don't die, whatever, we're going to roll this shit, whatever. How many times she goes, but I ain't giving up. And that was the thing that saved her. I ain't giving up. I'm going to get out of here. And then she literally started shit with the demons. She literally, and she started singing a holy song or a song about God or something. And man, the demons started freaking out and rah, rah, rah. And she was like, what are you going to do? You know, and she just kept singing it more. That next time when she woke up, when the lights went out, next time she woke up, boom, she was back in heaven. It was that simple.
So let me just interject here on, you know, because that's an interesting thing, because what I picked up on my adventure on Saturday was that there is a reality over there where the Woodstock concert is still going on.
Yeah, but
I mean,
really dark though.
What?
The concert's dark. She saw a lot of that. She saw so many we put ourselves in our reality through our memories. And every next reality she would bounce into was dealt with another trauma or another major event in her life. That was so profound to me. I'm like,
see, I don't see Woodstock as a dark thing. It
oh,
was,
I know,
mean,
but a lot of the people that do, a lot of people do because they associate it with drugs. They have judgment.
Well, that's them. I mean, you know, they're not going to be there. I mean, that's my point. You know, I happen to believe because, you know, listen, it goes.
They do.
Let me tell you what. Look at the world. The world today is controlled by drugs. It's pharmaceutical drugs. You know, it's crazy.
Big time.
But my whole point is that, you know, I guess the whole question I have again with these demons, what have you, because to me, I ask them, at what point did you convert to Christianity? Listen, Satanism and all the other stuff, it's Christianity. It's just the metaphysical aspect of Christianity.
Yeah.
I mean, they still acknowledge Jesus. They just happen to have a different, you know, image of their rebelliousness. Mm-hmm. And, you know, to me, I'm going, so what was there? Is there some kind of freaking, you know, tent revival on the other side? And he said, well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to be a demon, and I happen to think you're a prick. Okay, so that's what you're going to be now. You know, so now you're the demon of pricks. And, you know, we've all met them. I mean,
yeah. See, I think a lot of that is when people
explain to me, how can you believe in Jesus when the name Jesus? Oh, I'm sorry, hon.
I do think it's the inner demons. It's
I think we create them.
Fighting with, you know, I'm looking at the man in the mirror kind of thing. You go into those realms, you're in a wall of mirrors.
I'm sorry, I got Michael Jackson going on. I love that song.
And so, but yeah, it's really deep, that song, you know. It is.
Wild, but
it is. I can't help but sing it when I'm looking in the mirror. But I think a lot of that time, it's the inner demons. It's the inner demons and the lack of inner healing that has put her there in the first place through pummeling that information of this is what hell looks like. So why are the demons actually anything outside of her?
They're not. You're right. I think you're absolutely right, Jen, because literally when she was there, she realized, she's like, how could I get here? I was a good person. I don't drink. I don't smoke. She's like, what, how did this happen? But when she got to the other side of it, when she fought her way through it, because she was not going to give up, she was getting so, and see, that's what finally you get through the fear and you're like, what do I got to lose? I'm going to bring out my power. I'm going to feel joy. I'm going to feel what I want to feel. You can't bring me down no more. As soon as she made that decision, she broke out of the construct, which is a vibration. So I really do. This is about what you feel inside of you is going to dictate where you go in the afterworld. And it's all the mirrors. It's all reflections of your trauma, your doubt, all the Satan in your own head telling you that you're not good enough, that you're this, that you're that. That's what you're going to be dealing with. You're going to be dealing with your own mirrors, your own images from this reality and others based upon how you felt about your own inner world. And her inner belief system was very Catholic, which told her, if you don't repent, you don't do these things right, you're going to go to hell. She was taught her whole life, you're going to go to hell. You're going to go to
that's the God spell.
Underneath,
Yeah.
be very good, look smart, just don't think your feelings.
So that's why I teach on, and people, that's why I do the teaching I'm on, is that, so who's this God you're talking of? Is this Yahweh?
I think it is.
Well, so if it's Yahweh, I know what that punk's about.
Right.
That punk. Yes. I love that punk, you punk.
That's exactly what he is. He's a punk. And that's what he is. He's always been a punk. You know what a punk is? A bully. And you know the way you deal with bullies? Boom, right in the nose. And you say, now what do you want to talk about?
Yeah, but what if it's perfectly doing its job? Because if you're still in that consciousness where you have saviors and you have no self-responsibility, no self-power, no self-love, maybe if that's a protection device to keep the filters from each other level. So maybe he's doing his job and doing it well. Who knows?
I don't know. He's a punk.
I think if you're a shit consciousness, I do not want you in my kitchen. It's just like a rabid dog. No, I don't want that in my house. So with that, yeah, I hope there's a place for that shit because I don't want it in my world.
I think he encourages it though.
I think he does.
I think you're right. I think,
Lynn and I were talking when I was about this thing about the United States. We have the all-seeing eye on our dollar, and we worship a God who is Yahweh was the God of war and Canaanite, and this nation, we've always been a shit disturber.
Yes.
And you folks in England, y'all did the same thing.
They taught you.
Exactly.
Right. But
look at what you did, this is all screwed up, man.
But it's all because we give our power to the royals and to the kings and to the leaders, and they're the ones that orchestrate the wars. We don't want to go to war against each other because we don't fight over these minerals, and we know it's all on the earth. We don't. So this is about the leadership of this world. And apparently it looks like the leadership of this world might be that dragon archonic legion that is controlling the entire planet.
I mean, these are ancient beings, the dragons. Yes. They are ancient beings. If you just got to look at the Chinese culture and realize, damn, they are beyond time that I can conceive of, sometimes feel, but not conceive of. And, I think in the dragon, Kaz will say this, there's good and bad like anything else. Well, the definition of high frequency, low frequency, intent. But, I feel this dragon DNA has encoded itself from pharaohs, through, just like Queen Elizabeth has sort of hijacked the body of Charles. It's like I think that they just keep jumping, which is why they've got to make the DNA as pure as possible.
What's so the problem I had that dragon vision not too long ago, and it was so amazing because it was an amber gold dragon, and I woke up when I was holding her face, and it was huge, and I was kneeling, and I woke up with my eyes closed, like holding this dragon face, and I was like, what is this? And her eyes were golden. and it was so beautiful. I'm telling you, I think that we have had the dark dragons controlling this realm for a long time, and I think many of them might be under mind control. I don't even know if they're doing it under their own free will, but there's also the benevolent dragons. And I do think it's time for them to return. And I think it's because it's the end of a cycle. I think these things just come like clockwork. So I think we might be seeing some amazing stuff with that in the real 3D world manifesting, because the veil's getting thin. I think that's why we saw the Reaper at the ceremony.
Don't fear the Reaper.
Right.
I don't know. I'll leave him alone for now.
It's like,
I'll not go channeling.
I'm kind of being, almost like, the rat, says, forget the cheese, just get me out of the trap. I mean, at some point, the thing about it is, I give thanks to that which gave me consciousness. I don't know what it is. I don't know how it is.
True eye of God.
Well, it's the only thing, Trina, that I know to give thanks to. My spirit I naturally give thanks. It's something that it's part of me. And I know when I get into that thankfulness of a mindset, it opens up, areas that, the oppressor can't step within.
No.
I mean, if you're giving thanks.
Yeah. It's frequency.
But that's not a religion to me. I don't know what it is, and I don't care to define it.
I think it's a universal law of creation. I just think it's an is. Vibration affects everything in matter. So bottom, it's just a universal law, which is an is factor of how the geometry of this construct just works. It's based on vibration and sound.
Because I get tired of the male-female thing. It's draining. It's like, it is. I mean,
we're one. We're both.
Yeah.
We're
So I just
expressing a certain one right now.
Yeah, that's what I get with back to the paganism but before that, I know I was sources of energy before that even. And that's when I look at people who are trying to come into some sort of awakening, but not realizing quite how stumped back they still are, in that they're still talking about skin color and wanting justice from the external people that wouldn't give them justice. They'd rather die than give them justice. So I look at it at a source that you're never going to get it from. And even if you did, it's tainted in blood. It's tainted in your ancestors' harm. Why would you want it from there? It's distorted. But to seek it from a space of just that creative source of of recognizing that we're all of energy, slowed down at different rates, probably throughout many dimensions. So that's the very different versions of us. And all of the various other branches of that at that point, when people say to me, like, what was your past life? I have fractals of DNA memory. I don't have fixed characters that I hook into. I have spouts of energy that I realize, that's a part of me. That's a hint towards what I've done before. But before that, when I go into like the higher self, so to speak, as in just in vibration height, I'm all color. I'm gel. I'm an amalgamation of tone. I can't even say a name that somebody says, what were you and what's your higher self name? I don't know, because I echo. How do you want do you want to speak dolphin?
It's like I ask people, so what color is your soul?
Yeah.
I mean, people get hung up on this race thing, and I'm going, you don't understand. It's not about race. What are all souls of a different race? I mean, if you're black here, are you black over in the afterlife? If you're Caucasian here, are you Caucasian? I mean, I
think that, again, Wayne, it's what do you believe? If you believe that this is what you are, you're going to image what you are here. So I think that's the confusion, and there's validity with that, because people believe it and then it manifests. So
I've talked to some black theologians, and they're convinced that, and they said, I can't imagine being white.
Yes,
It's
See?
exactly what he said. I mean, he's a very well-known international preacher. He said, I
Absolutely.
can't imagine being white.
Correct.
And he looked at me and he says, now be honest with me. Can you imagine being black? I said, I don't have any reference.
I see it. I think I can tap right into that African Aborigine energy. And I just feel my spine start to unlock and move.
But so are you saying that, but no, I mean, his question is very valid. You know, he said, why would I be this and not be that over there? He says, isn't that part of my identity? If you strip me of this, then who and what am I?
Right.
But then that doesn't answer when he goes and has a child. And if he has a child with a very white woman, then
so what happens there?
Separate into black and white? No,
that's what I mean.
Level, that doesn't make sense.
No, everybody's so stuck in their perception of their identity. When you can break your identity and know that you're all potential and that this is just a character.
Exactly.
It says, are aliens then? Do they understand what the races are here on the planet? I mean, do they really? How would you? What are you? You know, and that because that's important. That identifies your ancestry. I don't, and it's.
But before that, you're an amalgamation of organs. Before that, you're an orchestra of energy. Before that, you're minerals and compounds. Before that, water and ice. Before that, you're fire. Before that, you're before that, you're an apple in the star sky. You know,
an atom.
Where do you start? And if everybody wants to say that the original physical mother here was a black being, a blue back being, say thank you. Thank you to that being. I love that being. I love that representation of her. So if she is that and the first mother, then no matter how far down the line this avatar is, I am of her. And I am of Trina, and I am of you, and I go up to the sky and beyond.
Me too.
So where does it stop with people? And the people really do need to start allowing their belief systems and their ego to stop being entrenched in whatever enslavement it might be. You've got white people in the UK saying that their land has been taken, right? And you're like, are you kidding me? There was a black king here before there was ever a white one. So where do you stop? So, you know, like you've got people from all sides claiming reparations from the very construct and wanting to continue the same blueprint while saying, but we're all unity, we're all light.
Yeah, liar.
All I know is that when this Gentile boy went to his first Passover dinner with, I was dating a Jewish woman at the time, I can tell you there was a clear difference. I just got to tell you, it was very evident that I had no idea what the hell I was doing, what was going on. And I began to think about this, it's no different than I was years ago invited, and I'll just be laying it out. It was a Pentecostal church that was down in Georgia and mostly black. And afterwards, they had a Sunday picnic that I'm going to tell you what, there's no restaurant that was around, but it was very evident that I was really a duck out of water. And it became funny for a lot of the people because we started laughing, and it's and I often wonder, is that going to have the same mix with souls on the other side? I mean, are you going to get there and really find people that you really never had a chance to really get to know because of the barriers here? But there shouldn't be barriers over there. At least I hope not.
Well, it depends on where you go.
Yeah. I mean, I begin to think that our souls, are there alien souls? I mean, what I would call non-terrestrials?
I think so.
I think there is. I hope there is.
And then I think there's extraterrestrials, terrestrial beings that are extra here that we don't know about, but they're
and then there's
here.
What I call butthole terrestrials. They're just had their heads up their ass all the time. I can't figure out how they walk. But anyway.
Butthole terrestrial.
Yeah, do, Trina. That is so true.
It's
That
the reverse
as
duck walk. You know, the duck squawk. Quack, quack, you know.
Oh my God.
oh yeah,
Okay,
that's
you got it.
Alien buttholes. I love it. I love it.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Marvel come out with a new series now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
well, lovely ladies.
Alien
Jenny,
buttholes.
can you join us again next week? This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
I've
I
missed you
love it.
so
I love
much, girl. Missed
Oh,
you
I've
so
missed
much.
all
I've
of
missed you. I'm
you.
so glad you're back.
You're perfect. Everybody here, just this space is just so perfect. All of us have had an itchy nose, I've noticed, and when I've
Yeah.
got spirit around me, I
Yeah.
get a very itchy
Yeah.
nose, and we've all been doing it. It's just been lovely energy. I just send love out to you two. You know, masters in my life, and the sages, wizards, warlocks, and anything else in between in the chat.
Yeah.
It's just such a lovely flow. I
Yeah.
send love and gratitude, and break through whatever boundary like a bull. Instead of putting it up a hole, you know, put your horns down and break
Yeah.
through any thought boundary that you might be having, or that anybody might be putting upon you right now. Push
Yeah.
through, because there's a level of ridiculousness here.
Right.
It's funny.
I mean, you just got to
Right.
go, wait a minute. Come on. This is crazy, man.
It is.
You're the
Really
source of
is.
light and frequency.
Oh,
Oh, but you can't have dinner with me because I'm too, too pink. I don't know. I'm
Right.
too done. Yeah, should I go in the sun? Because I do change color. Even this skin
Right.
changes color quite drastically. Put me in Jamaica and I'll have a beautiful bronze tan in no time. My skin is changeable. Majid, my stepfather, the Iranian stepfather, his skin was very changeable, even though he was quite
Yeah.
dark. You put him out in the sun, he would get a bit overdone, and we would laugh and say, "I'm medium rare. You're overdone." You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
even the skin isn't fixed. So
No.
oh, that's
push through the ridiculousness. Wade through.
Absolutely. Get past the flesh and let's talk elemental being.
Yeah. Let's flow. Let's flow.
That's right. That's
I often
I'm
tell
with you.
people when I was, awarded the state with the state home, my roommate, James, and he was black. And, what I found out when you're in a home for abused children, the skin color doesn't matter. We
No.
all had broken bones. We all had broken spirits. And the commonality is that we found out that it was here.
Wayne, I
Wasn't
can
here.
testify to that truth. I witnessed the same thing. My girls, I had 12 of them, and none of them were the same nationality, and 3 of them were mixed with 2 nationalities. So they were mulattoes or Hispanic, black. They were very mixed, very, very
Mhm.
mixed. And I had the whitest of the white to the blackest of the black, and every color in between. But they all had something so profoundly in common. They were all wards of the state because of abuse, and that was their thread. And it was amazing because it was true. It was real. I
It
can
is true.
testify to that. It's
Yeah.
amazing truth. Yeah.
I loved it. James taught me Motown,
Yeah.
taught me the Temptations, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
That can still good.
Yeah.
I'm a soul man. Anyway, all right.
Bernadette in the chat is saying reparations are important for the Africans as everything was stolen from us, especially our history, spirituality, resources, and our lands. I would fight for your right to say that, and I'll shout it even louder than you, Bernadette. But everybody's history's being spirituality's being stolen.
It's not just, it's not one race. It's every race.
We've been pitted against each other, and 100% your land should be paid exactly what it's worth. It's one of the most mineral rich lands, and if I could, I would roll that damn crown over to those lands right now.
I would
and I would bury them in the ground, so they could create abundance in the land. But there is,
see, but that's another strategy to divide us. It's like, no, let's not give it to one race. Let's give it to all of us.
Let's just take the billionaires,
the whole world. And then
let business flow nicely, let business flow fairly, take that away, and will be in charge.
What
And
seems like causing the greatest damage of this planet and the greatest suffering, when I look at, when I've been looking at these things of what's gone on, I was like, when I look at Venezuela, it just breaks my heart. And it's because we cut them off from contract law. We cut them off with sanctions. Who has the ability to cut off a nation to give them the things that they need? That is sick and wrong. This is the problem. We got to come together. We can't say, oh, we're going to reprimand and give one to one group. This is where we've gone wrong every time.
Taking it back
Every
to Charles, one of his first announcements, and he's not supposed to make political statements, was to speak about reparations. He's not doing it from the goodness of his heart when he's wearing the African jewels on his head and holding the African jewels in the sphere and in the staff. That was a ritual humiliation. He did that. That was a rubbing salt in the wound to divide and say, look at what we've got, yet I'm going to speak about reparations.
When humanity is smart enough to figure out that every time they tell you that they're going to do this for you, it's because they're training you so you'll kill your following brothers and sisters that don't match the new criteria. So they're just preparing you to commit genocide against another race. So next time it's like, are we just going to keep rolling through this stupid trap, or are we going to wake up and say no more? That's going to be that simple.
I'm for the no more.
I am too. I'm over it.
Mad as hell.
I ain't gonna take it anymore.
Mad as hell.
All right, everybody.
Anymore.
I won't be on tomorrow. I've got things I have to do tomorrow, so I'll be back on Thursday. Jenny, you're going to join us again. I like this
I
format,
do too.
You know,
and I've missed you so much. I can't get enough.
Definitely.
Okay.
I look forward to it. I was like, it's a Tuesday.
I love it. And later on, I'm going to go have tacos. So there we go. Brian.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Taco Tuesday. So it is. Over here, Jenny, we got the thing. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. So
nice.
Do y'all have it over there?
We have tacos, but they're not that big of a deal. I can't think of a taco restaurant that pops into mind, and we've got all sorts of restaurants in Newcastle. So I know it's an American brother.
So no Mexican food, huh?
There's not much Mexican food, but
there's not.
You said
when we get you over here to have, because now travel is going to be opening up, we'll have to get you over here and then take you to a good, I like Mexican and I also like Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex is really good. So we'll have fun with that.
To sit under like a deer that's on the wall and have a rib of something, various carcasses,
that can be done. I mean,
I can hook you up, girl. I got everything you need.
What the part of country I'm in, that's considered natural wall furniture.
Just
the deer heads and
the trophies that burned down in our cabin. It would make most hunters cry. They would be super sad.
All right, everybody, have yourselves a great Taco Tuesday, and we appreciate you, and we'll see you definitely on Thursday. Thank you, you two lovely ladies.
Thank you.